another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. First, I got to thank Olive Oil's Pizzeria before we even start. Let me chew 1 second. Oh, is that delicious? And you know what held me back? Ryan gave us the best breadsticks I've ever had today.
Better than the best meatball sandwich Jim ever ate?
Well, no, because meatballs add to that, but make sure you give them a call. Call Alexis at 412-831-1900 or Ryan. They'll make you up a pizza like we had, the XL, and the breadsticks with that little bit of buttered garlic and marinara were fantastic. Thanks again for being our sponsor.
Thank you very much, folks. Delicious food.
I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. We got Chip the Prophet Hayner. We got Smoking Jim Frazier. And I think we just got Zach Brenner just walked in. Oh, you got to put him on camera. I'm wearing the BC gear. He got Pittsburgh Sportsline latest tassel cap. Welcome aboard, Zach. Just started introducing you. Hey, since I got some announcements, I want to announce about this grill that we're going to do to build up the Chip. Could you hold this for a second so I can put that out there?
John can zero right in on it.
That's yeah, I don't know if he is or the other camera, but I'm sure we'll work that out.
Got it.
That's excellent. If you look at that gas grill, EV Hardware is donating this grill. It's about a $650 Weber grill. The drawing is going to be June 8th at the council meeting. Devin Shea will be on the camera like he's in the control room now, but he'll make sure that they draw that. It'll be a legitimate drawing. $1 donation per ticket for all of these. And we'll show you this. Okay, Chip, thanks. Let's see if he can get this.
Well, you know, the only problem is I've already bought the winner, so, you know.
Whoa, no. That winner, we can't. There it is. That's one of the tickets. I have some on me right now. You're all welcome to, if you see me out and about, just ask for a ticket. It's only $1. Chip, we got a special for you. 5 tickets for $5.
Hey, wow, there you go.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Handful for a handful.
And for Zach, we got the BC deal. If you notice, I'm wearing BC gear, but hey, look what this nice gentleman did. Can you close in on that arm, John? Oh, I'm twisted up here.
Could you mean that python?
Oh, wait, it's coming out. It's coming out. Jim, it's coming out.
There you go, baby. Yeah.
Thanks, BC.
Yeah.
And Smoking Jim said you're always a winner with lime green. So I don't know what it means, but we had boxing and that happened. Hey, I want to thank you for watching us on Verizon 32. We appreciate that all over the area. Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park. And then on Facebook, we just hit a brand new high when I left the house to get the pizza. 4419 was our new high. So thanks, everybody, for all the likes. And you know, all you people that are asking me to like your page, thanks for liking ours. And you know, I gave you a like right away. If you haven't liked our page, I may be delayed on that. So give a quick like in there, and I'll like that next page. We got a lot of sports to talk about, and we always start our show with what's on our mind, and we're going to do that right now. Zach Brenner, what's on your mind?
Well, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, I'm going to keep it short and sweet tonight. Pitt is not it. No NIT, no buy-in tournament. Jamie Dixon's team over in Oakland has completely fallen off the wagon by my standards for the University of Pittsburgh because, as I've alluded to several times over the last couple years, Pitt always breaks my heart and lets me down. Not any worse than Penn State, but bad. But what's also on my mind, I've been taking a ribbing for number 29, Marc-Andre Fleury, and I'm going to simply say this. I can't even imagine the peril that the Penguins would be in right now if they did not have number 29, Marc-Andre Fleury, in goal. He has 9 shutouts on the year. Now, some will argue and say, hey, I'd rather just, get through the regular season and have him stand on his head in the playoffs. Well, let me give you a fun fact here, because nobody wants to talk about when the napkin Russian, oh, that's Malkin, or Sid the Kid Crosby go on these power outages where they couldn't buy a goal with the millions of dollars that they have. Nobody wants to talk about that. It's always easy to pick on the goalie who isn't even in a position in his sport to score goals. There's only been a couple. Chip, do that for a trivia question. How many goalies have ever scored goals in the NHL regulation game? I'm sure it's only 5 that I could think of off the top of my head. But that's what's on my mind tonight, folks. Pitt's not it. Look forward to more coverage on the NCAA tournament that's coming up here for men's basketball. And enjoy your night and try to stay dry. I'm trying to get dry. And like this hat right here, folks, I can't tell you how much it is, but it's fantastic and it's available. I'll sell it to you right now off my head.
It's still the same price it was before when we didn't know we weren't allowed to talk about them on TV. So it's like a baker's dozen. That's all I could say. -1. How's that, Zach?
I like it. I like it.
Thanks for wearing that hat. And hey, we got you that special breadstick there. Look what that looks like. It's just for you.
Oh, man.
Where's
I thought
the
it was
piece of
smoking
pizza for
Jim's.
him?
I thought it was smoking Jim's. I was about to humbly eat that.
That is yours. You can humbly eat it.
All right, thank you.
All right, Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see Levine. Hey, what's on my mind real quick is just want to talk about some of the moves that the black and gold Pittsburgh Steelers are making that I don't necessarily agree with. We talked about some of it yesterday where I believe that the best players should play. And Troy Polamalu is still the team's best safety, and I don't understand why they're trying to get rid of him. Brett Kiesel is the third best defensive end on the football team. He's better than Cam Thomas, and he's still on the football, and Cam Thomas is still on the team. These are two outstanding leaders. James Harrison, best outside linebacker on the team. He's unsigned. They're trying not to bring him back. Ike Taylor. I know I may take a little heat about this, but he's still the fastest cornerback at a 4.3, 840, tallest at a 6'1", and he's no longer a shutdown corner. He can't cover the team's top receivers anymore, but he still be a value in the nickel and dime packages. Now, you got 4 players right there off of your defense. You only get 7 drafts in the NFL draft, and it looks like now they're going to probably waste 4 valuable draft picks trying to replace these guys that are still NFL quality players. And that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Smoking Jim.
I like it.
But one question I have is, with Ike Taylor, I seem to recall he's been in the league for a while, and that 4.38, that's suspect in my mind.
Well, he was
when did he do that?
He was 4.26 when he came in the league.
Okay, but what did he just do, the 4.38? What year?
I'm estimating. Now.
Okay.
Still do
And
I'm just trying to tunnel down a little bit.
I don't think one's hands could fall off any more than his hands have already fell off.
How's he
They're almost
estimating?
super glued to his body.
Well, we're not here to pick Smoking Jim's thing apart, because I actually have my segment. We'll talk about that, because I'm tired of a lot of crying in the neighborhood. But that's another story. Chip, what's on your mind?
Thank you, Alan. And just to speak to my good friend Jim's opinion about the Steelers, well, one thing they won't be drafting this year will be another quarterback.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
But, we want to know what's on my mind is, once again, an iconic coach is taking a hit and, and made a complete mockery of the sport that he's coaching. And I'm speaking of Jim Boeheim from Syracuse. Last Friday it was announced that after an 8-year investigation, that they determined that he was guilty of multiple infractions, including sidestepping the drug program, students getting paid, just a lot of different things. And basically what it boiled down to and what the NCAA's investigation revealed was that he was the source of all of the infractions, okay? So this is what gets me, but, okay, they're taking 108 wins away from him, and, that is a real deterrent to this kind of behavior, okay? Now, they took 112 or 113 wins away from Penn State, and they gave them back 3 years later. Whoop-de-doo, who cares? They take 108 wins away from Syracuse. Okay, so now he doesn't have 966 wins. He's got what? 100.
858.
858. Okay, great. Okay, so you're going to slap him on the wrist by taking 108 wins away from the university. How about let's try something like, why don't we fire him? He cheated. I mean, why, how is this guy even having a job? Come on, you're gonna suspend him for 9 games in the ACC next year, in the ACA league games. Big deal. I mean, the guy blatantly violated the rules and did it consistently over the year, and he's arrogant about it. But this is the kind of environment that we have in college sports and even in professional sports, because you're seeing it all over the place. But, right now, 2 other iconic coaches are under investigation, okay? Roy Williams in North Carolina. There's academic scandal going on there about players not taking the classes that they signed up for, with student assistants taking their tests and turning in their classwork. And then, of course, you've got the almighty Mike Krzyzewski in Duke. Now, he had a player that was involved in alleged sexual misbehavior. Okay, well, they found out about this last March or April. Well, he promptly kicked him off the team in January after. He's already paid half a season. And, how is it that, there's even an inference that there was some kind of misbehavior going on and some kind of sanctions or something isn't being done with these coaches. This kind of behavior will continue to go on because the NCAA will let it, because these guys are good for the game. They're the ones that put the, Jim Boeheim put Syracuse on the map. Mike Krzyzewski put Duke on the map. I think when these things happen, and I know Zach will argue with me on this, but when somebody was accused of abusing his girlfriend in NASCAR, what'd they do? They suspended him indefinitely, whether there was proven or not, because it's bad for the sport. And having coaches that are cheating the sport, how are they helping the sport? I think it's time to drop the hammer on these people. Let's get them out of the sport completely. If you want to clean it up, do it and do it right. But that's what's on my mind.
Holy smokes. If we did it right, Olivine, we wouldn't have any coaches, we wouldn't have any players, referees, officials, anybody.
Maybe
the whole country was built on
didn't cheat.
The whole country was built on crookedness, Levine. Wouldn't you agree, CBA?
Not the CBAs, but they're all cheating because you said that's what's ingrained in our society. The problem is, Chip's right in what he's saying, that it's a good old boys and girls network. It's not going to change.
No,
when the NCAA guys in charge in his school had domestic violence and rapes and everything else that were hidden, like I said a couple years ago, it's not going to happen. So you can keep railing about it, and that's for good TV. We don't mind.
The hidden vigor.
The hidden vigorish. That's what
I think that's in your book. Yeah, but that's in your bookmaking skills. And we don't condone betting. It's a family show. Well, we covered a lot of stuff, and I got to go back to the Steelers. Now, we just had a little discussion before the show started, and I said I never recognized the Steelers as a team that I wanted to follow until after 1969 and Joe Green, because he showed passion. Before that, they were the same old Steelers all the time. They played a nice game because they fought and won the fights, and they were tough guys, blue-collar guys.
Games. They won the fights, but lost the games.
Right, and it didn't matter because coaches come in, they were friends, and then we had a new era. And part of that is when Chuck Noll come here, he did turn the team around. And like all good coaches do and all good people do, they fall in love with the people that got them there. Did Chuck Noll keep some of our guys too long? No doubt about it. Do we like to talk about it? We hate talking about it. When somebody wins a Super Bowl or a couple Super Bowls for the Steelers, they should never be gone. We got linebackers out of here for years, and we brought new linebackers in, and they were on championship teams and played well. But we thought they were done. We didn't have cap issues like we do. Now we got cap issues, signing money, and everything else you can do if you go early. Like I said last night, I just wish the Steelers would give Troy his money so there's no problem there and let him retire with class. Kiesel overachieved. He was an overachiever. They even got rid of him last year, and he come back. Well, Smoking Jim, you're a scout. I'm not. I don't watch the film.
He's
You
Aaron
can-
Smith's little brother.
Yeah, and I'm just going by, well, whatever happened, happened, but you had an error here. They do end every so often. What's the average shelf life of a player? Like 3.3 years?
Good point.
So now everybody tells me, Al, what are you even talking about? A guy's been there 13 years, 10 years, 8 years. Guess what? They did fantastic. And here's the other thing about it. It's become entertainment. All of them are millionaires. And most of us are not, except for Smoking Jim here, maybe. But most of us are not. So why are we getting all upset about guys who are set for life? Some are good guys, some aren't. That's what happens. Eventually, we all get old. Except on Pittsburgh Sports Line. We're going to do this till the day we die. Have a great night. Don't change that down. All right. We always got a couple favorite segments here, so I won't forget about Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, and great. What's on everybody's mind today was outstanding. But my fiction and fact is going back to 2003, and we're going back to the Pittsburgh Steelers draft, and actually this will be on paper my 16th year with the Steelers. But being that I was fired for two years, this will be my 14th season officially. In 2000 was the first year the Steelers brought me in. And when they drafted a defensive end from Duke named Chris Combs, I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability. So being that I couldn't shut up about how terrible he was, they fired me until 2003. And when I came in 2003 draft, on the Pittsburgh Steelers board for the first round was Larry Johnson from Penn State. They wanted Alonzo the Bum Jackson from Florida State, and Mike Doss, strong safety from Ohio State. And as the draft was going, a long-haired guy from USC was falling down the draft board unexpectedly, and that was Troy Polamalu. So the Pittsburgh Steelers decided to couple a third-round draft pick and see if they could move up in the draft and get Troy, and they got Troy. And at that time, this is 2003, Little Z. This is before really cell phones, call waiting, caller ID. So
In your neighborhood?
and down there, you figure it was 11 years ago, man. There was still a lot of old school stuff, man. And or 13 years ago, whatever it was.
Somewhere around there.
Been a few.
12.
Been a few.
12
Yeah,
maybe.
12,
You can pick
baby.
a number. Folks, he is not a mathematician.
That's true.
He's a writer, okay?
so
Let's
the-
make it clear. He's a writer.
So the funny part is nobody really knows me down there at that particular time, and so the Pittsburgh Steelers was beginning to panic because they couldn't get Troy on the phone. Kept ringing busy, and it's because I was on the phone with Troy, and I called Troy, and I didn't identify myself as a Pittsburgh Steeler affiliated, and so I says, "Can I speak to Troy?" And they says, the lady says, "He can't come to the phone right now. He's dancing." And very religious guy. He was doing a Polynesian dance, a religious dance. I was like, well, this is Smoking Jim from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I get on the phone with Troy, and we must have talked for 20-some minutes. We're talking about Carson Palmer's roommate at USC. We're talking about it. And the whole time the Steelers is trying to get Troy on the phone for the simple reason the Pittsburgh Steelers and most NFL teams try to get a confirmation that you will sign if they draft you, so that you won't get that situation like Eli Manning or Elway. And being that they traded up so quickly, they never talked to Troy. And they know how Troy is. If he may not have wanted to come to the Steelers, so they took a chance. And so they're panicking now, and they did all this trading, and they can't get in touch with the guy to say whether or not he'll be a Steeler, because I was on the phone with him for about 20 minutes. But that's the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. I hope Troy comes back for one more year. What a great guy.
That's good stuff, Jim.
Well, the sentimental value means a lot, Smoking Jim. And this backstory, we never even heard about any delay of anything on there till now. So we're just glad to hear it. I don't know if it borders on fiction or if it borders on fact. So who's going to verify any of this? Because I got people texting me that there were cell phones there and everything else back then. So I don't know what happened, my friend. Especially out in California. That's Silicon Valley, in case you don't know that. They invent a lot of this stuff.
Well, they were poor then.
The Samoan was
Who,
doing
California?
a Polynesian
Or-
dance.
USC.
Troy's family.
You played USC.
So it was just Troy's family. All
But he
right.
was in Oregon at the time.
Okay.
That's where his family
Well, that's
lived.
probably why.
Yeah. So
All right.
I'll break the
You got some more facts in there. We're gonna fact check that shortly. Because Zach will bring it up. He's Googling it right now. All right, let's go to Chip's trivia time. Come on, Chip.
Thank you, Alan. And a couple of things on my trivia. I'll try to go through this first one relatively quickly. And my trivia for this evening, I always like to keep my trivia pertinent to what's going on in the sports world. And since the free agency started at 4 o'clock, I figured that's going to be the path I'm going to go down this afternoon. And what I wanted to touch on, and I use for my resource, NFL Total Access. And what I came up with is the 10 biggest free agent busts in NFL history.
Wow.
Okay?
That's something positive.
Yeah, there you go. Because there's going to be some people that are going to sign, that may have already signed, that might end up on this list. Okay? We don't know. Time will tell. But number 10, we're going to go from 10 to 1. Andre Rison. He signed a 5-year contract for $17 million from the Cleveland Browns in 1995 and promptly did nothing. One of Jim's favorites here rings in at number 9, Brett Favre. Brett Favre. He signed a 1-year contract for $16 million with the Minnesota Vikings in 2010. He ranks as number 9 on the list. Number 8 is somebody that Pittsburgh fans will continue to say lives in infamy for the rest of his life. Neil O'Donnell. After handing
Now, boo that.
the Cowboys Super Bowl
Boo
30,
that, Steeler.
he signed with the New York Jets for 5 years and $25 million in 1996. I guess that was on his way to.
He was in
To
deep with
Canton.
the bookies.
You know, he was on his way to his Hall of Fame career. Number 7 on the list is Dale Carter. He was signed for 6 years and $38 million by the Denver Broncos. And if the one thing is consistent here, I mean, other than Brett Favre, does anybody recognize any of these names? That's my point. Number 6 on the list is David Boston. David Boston was signed for 7 years and $47 million by the San Diego Chargers in 2003. Next up on the list was Dana Stubblefield, who was a star for the 49ers, played his best years there. Daniel Snyder. He is probably the most inept owner in the NFL, and I think Jerry Jones even takes a backseat to him. He signed Dana Stubblefield for 6 years and $36 million in 1998. That didn't work out so well for him. So what he did was he waited a few more years and he decided to sign another nobody named Adam Archuleta, who was a cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals. Signed him for 6 years and $30 million in 2006, and he went absolutely nowhere. Number 3 on the list, Sean Gilbert. Wow. He signed a 7-year, $46 million contract with the Carolina Panthers in 1998. He laughed all the way to the bank. Number 2, Javon Walker. Javon Walker was a wide receiver. The Raiders snatched him up, signed him for 6 years, $35 million in 2008. And, what have the Raiders done since? And then the number 1 bust of all time, free agent signing. Once again, Daniel Snyder wanted to prove that he was far and above the worst owner of them all. Signed Albert Hainsworth for 7 years and $100 million in 2009. So Daniel Snyder certainly does like to give his money away, and I'm wondering who he's going to sign this year. But my one last little piece of trivia, it's funny that Zach mentioned something about Marc-Andre Fleury, and this is not a criticism of him. But the Penguins over the last number of years have always been consistently one of the highest scoring teams in the NHL, and actually in the last 5 years spent 2 of those years as the highest scoring team in the NHL. And subsequently, they were early exits from the playoffs. They haven't been back to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2009. Just to give you some interesting statistics here about what it takes to win a Stanley Cup. Okay, now what you're going against is, and this is a testament to the defense the team plays, because we all know, right?
Or Wayne
Defense
Gretzky.
wins championships, okay? So the defense is not just the goaltender, it's the defensive system, it's the players that they've got in it. So in 2010, Chicago won the Stanley Cup. They had a goals against average of 2.48. They were tied for 5th in the league. 2011, Boston won the Cup. They were a 2.3 goals against. They were number 2 in the league. 2012, LA won 2.07. They were number 2 in the league. Chicago once again wins the Cup in 2013. Their goals against was 2.02, number 1 in the league. The LA Kings won last year. Their goals against was 2.05. So this year, with the new head coach, new general manager, and a complete remake of the team, the Penguins now sit at a 2.38 goals against average, which puts them 4th in the league. And I think that simple statistic right there speaks more to the Penguins' chances of making a longer run in the playoffs this year than anything else. And I think they've done a great job at rebuilding this team. That's my trivia for you this week.
There we go. We can touch on some Penguins a little later if we have time there, I'm sure. Thanks, Chip.
See, Zach, I didn't even criticize the flower.
And there's
He's
not-
part of the defense.
There's
you
not
know?
much to criticize right
No,
now.
he
Ben
is,
is
and
the
he-
most steadiest man on the wheel right now that you could ask for.
He will
in
be the team's
organization.
MVP this year, without question.
I sure hope so.
And
Got
now
my
we
vote.
Did you even see him play this year? We had the TV on and you didn't know he was in goal. Thanks, Jim.
Smoking Jim wouldn't know what he looked like if he walked up to him and said hi.
Jim doesn't let the flags cloud his vision.
No, never. Not an opinion either. So we all do a lot of that. All right, let's have a little Z time here.
Well, in Z time, I'm not going to rehash on the incident with Troy Polamalu on the phone. I can neither confirm nor deny. This is something that will go down in infamy between Jim Frazier and the great Troy Polamalu, but I will urge you, Troy, to just retire. The scout, man, some of his better days are behind him. You saw the condition of Ali. I'm saying Smoking Jim Frazier is in better condition than Ali right now, but let's not let that cloud our judgment. Troy Polamalu is done for a defense that's going to come in young and with a new leader at the helm, with a new coordinator. Troy Polamalu, they're not going to have the luxury to allow him to run around all over the place. This defense is going to need a lot of discipline. Troy Polamalu is not able to cover anymore in his natural position without running around and trying to do all kinds of crazy stuff. He gets burned about as bad as like Taylor does. So, hey, listen, let's let bygones be bygones. I love you, Troy. You're a great human being. You're a great person. You're with the. I would wish every organization had a 55 of Troy Polamalu on every of all 32 teams, but it doesn't pan out that way, buddy. You did great. Let's give him his money, Steelers, and let's let him send him on his way. If you want to go down and hook up in Tennessee and reunite with Dick LeBeau, hey, by all means, you're not going to win down there, so just save your body, and do it. You've made enough money over your career. I also want to give a shout-out to Lamar Woodley, who somehow got signed by Bruce the Genius out in Arizona.
Pittsburgh West strikes again.
And
Another Super Bowl.
it's just been an unbelievable opening. Today was the opening of the official NFL calendar for 2015, and it's got off to a bang. I don't know what's going on with Chip Kelly over there in the Eagle Land, but they sent Nick Foles to the Rams for Sam Bradford. So
I like it.
that's a crazy.
He's not a racist now.
That's a crazy swap. I thought it was Riley Cooper, the wide receiver.
No, they were talking about Chip Kelly's a racist. You must have missed that.
He
The
had
only
Michael
person
Vick
that
back
said
here running
that is
around.
a nameless individual.
I'm saying about rumors because for some reason he picks up on the rumors, and it is free agency day. As Chip mentioned, it started at 4 o'clock. Let
It
the
did.
fun
So
begin.
let's break it down. Sue, the stomp leader of former Detroit Lions, got a huge contract by the Miami Dolphins. And here's my problem, Smoking Jim, with the league. What I have a problem with in the league is, and this might just be a criticism of America in general, but I have a huge problem with inflating the market and overpaying these
Good
guys.
point, good
Because
point.
it frustrates me to no end because, you know, it's hard with their first contract. Some of these guys like Shady McCoy, he should have probably got more money earlier because he was he blossomed so fast, But so now he goes to Buffalo, and for $50 million, 5 years or whatever, he got $10 million a year, whatever. He's not going to have the kind of success he had in Buffalo that he had with the Eagles. It's a whole different kind of system and scheme.
Whoa,
That Shady?
I must be.
He's upset.
Hello, caller. Do you want to state your name?
My name is Jack.
You have to speak up.
His name is Jack.
Jack?
Uncle Jack.
Uncle Jack.
Uncle Jack Brenner.
Hey, from the mountaintop.
This is Al Levine, the talking machine. I saw something on Facebook that you might call in.
Well, me and Zach, we got a problem with the Penguins.
Yeah, we know about it.
And my problem is, I was right. Last night I stayed up and watched him again, and he did the same exact thing. Joe Bowden laid down, lost the game in the shootout.
Yeah, we understand that. That's why we got opinions and we got facts, Uncle Jack.
Yeah, and then everybody talks about 9 shutouts. Don't tell me what you did. Tell me what you're going to do.
I'm glad you called from the mountains of Nemacolin here.
I like him.
You wait to meet him. He's one of the best hosts that you ever meet. Last summer when we went out there, he said, come on into my room here. He had memorabilia. He had beer cans everywhere. Hospitality. He's just one of the greatest hosts that I ever met.
And I wish you all would come back to the mountains. You got to wait till this snow melts. It's gone away. I was in a hot tub, 102 degrees.
Wow, you sound fresh today. I know that.
I'm on the internet working with pictures. I got over 6,000 pictures I'm sorting. Oh, what a mess.
Well, I appreciate the pictures you gave to me, that collage you gave with all your family and Zach and his family there. I still have that at home, so I appreciate that, Uncle Jack.
Hey, you all come back now here. I know you're all tied up, and I'm going to let y'all go. But I just wanted to let you know my feelings on the Penguins. I hope.
Well, here, let me interrupt you, Uncle Jack. Even with Fleury like he is, like you and Addison hate him, we understand that, just to call it like it is. What do you think the Penguins are going to do in the playoffs where it's important?
Okay, I don't know, depending on who we play first.
Okay, you're an honest man. I like that.
But I tell you, I'd like to see him go all the way. You know what? Pittsburgh deserves everything we get. We
Well,
don't have too many winners, and it's a long winter time, so we got to root for something.
well, that's what we're going to do. We'll root for the Penguins, and then we'll have the Pirates fill in again for another winning season. How's that?
Oh, wait a minute. After the first game, look at my Facebook. I did it last year. I was
Okay.
on there, wait till next year. After the first game.
Oh, boy. Hey, we're going to have you call back in.
Uncle Jack's the man.
Uncle Jack.
I want to keep this number. I want to keep his telephone number handy, and it's on Tuesday nights at 7:30.
Yeah, well, we're between 7 and 8. If you call at 7:30, we'll answer your call the same way, Uncle Jack.
Yeah, and I surprised you when I said, "Who is this?" Huh?
Well, I was expecting you to say your last name, so.
It's Jack, and nobody knew who Jack was.
Well, if I hear that Brenner name because you're living out in Brenner Lane, I know that.
Oh my goodness, yes, and it's a sheet of ice all the way from the top to the bottom.
Well, you let us know when the ice is gone, and we'll have to take a road trip up there, okay?
Let's do that.
All right.
I love you guys, and thanks for putting up with me.
Thanks,
All right,
Uncle Jack.
Thanks for calling.
Great job. Great call.
You got to meet Uncle Jack in person. He's a legend just from the phone conversation we had.
I'm sure he keeps your side splitting.
And he can tell some stories. And if you want to drink some beer, I guess I could say that. He's retired. He would drink some beer with you.
Good deal.
Definitely. Well, that was a good little diversion. Zach, I don't know if you finished your Z time. You had an additional Brenner jump in, so.
Yeah, I think everybody got their fill of a Brenner for one night.
Well, we got 2 Brenners. I just hope
Brenner's
Addison doesn't call in and talk about Flurry now.
Jeez.
I can't believe
That'll
it.
be the trifecta.
But I want to talk about On Location. Last night, we had one of our greatest crowds ever, 60-plus people. We had, let's see if they can get we had the Donnybrook Boxers. We had Jim Lamb, who gave us the background of the Donnybrook is actually a brawl, and it's a city in Ireland. And they come up with all this stuff, and it's just great. That'll be on St. Patrick's Day. We had boxers, thanks to Rich Donnelly and Jack Mook for bringing the fighters. We actually had one of the fighters celebrate his birthday. Shout out again to Cameron Donnelly. It was his 15th birthday. We had little kids there. We had aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpa. You name it, it was crowded. And not only that, I was honored to have Monique McCoy, the coach of Obama Academy, the Lady Eagles. They brought, I was going to show it tonight. They gave me an eagle and a swag towel. I got this towel. So she told me, don't worry, on Facebook, we'll send you here. You want to get that, John? It's just the logo here, you know. They know that. That's Pittsburgh Sports Line. But we had the team, almost all of the team was there. One senior was missing. There's only 2. They had 2 championships in a row. Legendary Dap Porter was there. The young coach Devon Anderson was there. The players are fantastic, from 5'3" up to about 6 foot tall or so. And they all got to say their name on air. First interviews for them. They're going to be back again. It was just a great crowd. Family and friends were there. It was just unbelievable. Then we had an athlete, this Andy Morgan, that Smoking Jim's business partner, Jody, was Slick Move Guide, said that you got to meet him. Well, he has a story that after 50 years old, he said, I got to do something. And I go, what'd you do? He goes, well, I had to lose weight. I was about 35 pounds overweight. Now he does all kind of extreme sports. He works out. He said his secret is he started walking a couple miles. Start walking 2 miles, do 3 miles. If you can do 3, do 4. Well, we had a little conversation. He was up to 10 miles. Then he went crazy with everything he does, from diving out of airplanes, rock climbing, kickboxing, competitive stuff. So anybody can do it. Now he's 55 years old or so, and he said that's what you do. So it was very inspiring to have him come on. And then we had one of our favorite guests who's going to West Point, Big E there from Central Catholic, offensive center. He's committing to West Point, and it's hard to get in there, like he described. So he now is a proud owner of the Slick Move Guide from Jody Velasquez. He has his own copy, so he'll know how to move into his new humble abode there at West Point. So congratulations to him. Had a lot of great stuff, a lot of great people there. And we're going to be next week, Smokehouse Bar and Grill, for our first show. And that'll be next Monday. And we're also doing 2 shows in 1 week. We'll be there on Thursday at the Village Tavern in Trattoria. So check that out. We're going to have a show at 8 o'clock till 9. Jessica Lee has the dinner hour with her group, 6 to 8. We're going to come in with dessert and stuff later on, and plus a lot of good sports and guests. We're getting the guests coming in left and right. So check us out in 2 different locations next week, Monday and Thursday. All right, now it's time to discuss some more points of sports with the last 20 minutes. You guys want to vote on what subject? We've got 4 guys.
I'm saying, since my Uncle Jack called in.
Well, we're going to vote, and then we'll get to, can we get a few categories?
I'll go Penguins.
How about the high school basketball playoffs? State championships are going on. The Alderdice Dragons are a favorite.
Smoking Jim, you got to vote. You want to vote?
High school basketball sounds good.
That wins it since I'm the tiebreaker, and all I would do is create a tie.
Well, you know,
And we'll go back to Penguins after high school basketball.
well, you know, the playoffs started last Saturday, and the Whitfield champ, Chartiers Valley, got knocked out on the last second shot by a young gentleman from Mount Lebanon who did the same thing to them 3 or 4 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
Beat them on the last second shot.
Wasn't there some controversy in that game because McConnell went out to see his brother for senior recognition or something like that and was able to play in that
No,
game?
he played.
Did he?
He played. He didn't.
Didn't
have a
they
very good
reschedule
game.
the game or
He
something
probably had
like
his
that?
worst game of the season.
I think they postponed the game.
They wanted to change the game from Friday to Saturday or something like that, and they may have done it. But the dad wanted to go out and see his son play, and the dad coaches Chartiers Valley, TJ's dad. So
Tim McConnell.
Tim McConnell, but yeah, Matty Ice, who I call him.
Matt McConnell.
Yeah, he's a special player and that averaged 30 points a game this year.
Yeah,
and
he
Pitt
did. He had an
can shoot
amazing
from the outside, and Pitt didn't recruit him.
Did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
announce the game, Smoking Jim?
No, sir.
Just checking. I
That-
don't know which ones you do.
I believe Alderdice is playing tomorrow night up at North
Wednesday,
Allegheny.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, who are they playing again?
They're playing Mount Lebanon.
And Mount Lebo is the team that knocked out Char Valley, so should be a good game. But Alderdice is those twins have been tearing it up this year.
Yeah, they're a special team. I think they're the greatest City League team of all time. And if they're not this year, next year, they got everybody coming back. But there was almost a brawl at Obama School on Saturday morning.
That's
I
where
was
you
at
announced.
that game, and Alderdice is playing Fox Chapel, and they're getting into it the whole game. And the coaches from Fox Chapel, and they got a lot of football players that's playing. There's thugs out there for Fox Chapel, and they were very physical.
What would you do as a coach?
Huh?
Would you do the same thing?
Yeah.
All
Late in the game, what happened? There was 2 seconds to go in the game, and one of the twins, Jackson twins, James Jackson, the quarterback, he gets the ball and he goes up for a slam dunk, and player from Fox Chapel, while he's still in the air, pushes him, and he comes down. First thing that hits the court is his chest.
Ouch.
And so it was almost a brawl, and luckily it wasn't. And so after the game, I seen James Jackson with his arm wrapped up almost like he had a broken left wrist. So who
Not to
knows
start
if
any
he'll-
rumors or anything. We
Yeah.
haven't heard anywhere else.
Yeah.
No verification on this.
No fixing
Zach-
it back.
We're getting more
I'm
fixing.
sure he'll be suiting up tomorrow night, right?
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you folks. Sometimes keeping up with Smoking Jim is almost like keeping up with the Kardashians because it's almost like a 24/7, 365 operation to toe the line and keep him straight. I have several guys on the beat, on top of several other people on the beat, trying to keep all these stories and all this stuff on the right. So hopefully you appreciate all the hard work that goes into.
Well, what about the other team that lost? They come out to see us, the Obama team, and
Yeah,
they got
Obama.
beat by Penn Hills, right?
Well, broke my heart.
Anytime Penn Hills wins, it
wins,
breaks
yeah.
your heart.
But Penn Hills has 2 girls on their team. One's a sophomore named.
Isn't it an
Desiree-
all-girls team?
It's all girls
Okay.
team, but 2 special girls
Okay, well.
on their team.
They changed something
And,
again.
one-
Sorry about that, folks.
One of the girls' name is Desiree Oliver. She's a sophomore point guard.
Okay.
Outstanding. Then they got a junior named Jade Eli,
Wow.
and she is like outstanding. And she's 6 foot, can do it, can do it all, and going to be recruited probably by everybody this side of Connecticut.
Do you think
next year.
Susie McConnell will recruit them?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
There's a
Yeah,
chance.
both of them. But Obama's young. They got everybody coming back, and
We saw that last night.
Yeah, so it was a great game, but they allowed Penn Hills to get up on them a little bit too far. But it was great. It was over at Alderdice, and then afterwards, Alderdice boys played Ambridge.
Whoa, what happened?
And Ambridge beat them in the playoffs. But don't forget, Ambridge would be considered the number 1 team in the state if on September 29th, their star player, McGinnis, didn't transfer illegally to Aliquippa.
Whoa.
September 29th, a month into school, not only did he play football for Aliquippa their last 4 or 5 games, now he's the star basketball player for Aliquippa's undefeated team. And they're the first undefeated WPIL team in like 30 years to win the championship, and they're probably going to win state.
How does this happen in America?
He transferred
Illegally.
for athletic purposes during the school year, and he got away with it.
Look
gotta
what
prove
they
it.
did to the Steel Valley team.
You gotta
Yeah.
prove
Their
it.
their top player,
Well, he was a fifth-year senior.
fifth year. Hey,
Well, at least he was still in school.
they give you 5 years to finish college. Why not high school?
or
They
more
should give you as many years as you need, Levine, until you can
in
finish.
college. You mean in college or eligibility? There's
In
two
high
different
school.
things. Yeah, but there's two different things on eligibility.
No,
Well,
no.
you know, the team that I was surprised
He might run
to see
himself
get
out of
done-
eligibility.
You're not even gonna. If you can't make it through 4 years of high school, then the prospects of you making it through college are slim, Levine. I'm just
Not
talking about
necessarily.
It could be done.
graduating high
It could be
school.
done.
If it takes you 6 years to graduate high school, you probably don't need to go to college. You probably should just go to McDonald's.
Well, maybe you finally redeemed yourself.
Well, you know,
I'm
the
an
team
optimist.
The team that got knocked out that surprised me as a perennial player in the for the state championships was Lincoln Park got knocked out real
Yeah,
early this
yeah.
year. And they usually traditionally have a very strong basketball program.
Well, don't forget they lost Maverick Rowan. He was only a sophomore, is being recruited by everybody. He's down in Florida now as a junior. And then their star point guard Nelly didn't play in the PIAAs, but they can recruit from all over. And but
Kind of like Gateway.
Yep, you know,
Except they're not doing
yep,
that one.
Yep. And I think, to segue, if we're going to stay in basketball, part of the reason why Jamie Dixon isn't having some of the national successes of other coaches is because, look, Jamie Dixon isn't cheating. So there you go. That settles everything. Start cheating over there in Oakland, and we can start winning. You know what?
Little disclaimer.
Would you rather...
Don't cheat.
Would you rather? I know Smoking Jim knows all about vacating things. Would you rather make it deep in the tournaments and win a whole bunch of stuff and it'd be great for Pitt and Oakland and then have to vacate it later, or just stay where we're at right now?
I'd rather them stay where they're at right now, to be honest with you.
they won't have to vacate that CBI championship. They got that
I don't
forever.
think they can pay for that
Now,
this
you know,
year.
they've got NC State tomorrow night at 7 in the ACC tournament, and I think
Do
Pitt's
they?
really only chance at even making it into the NIT tournament. It would be they'd have to win at least 2 games in the ACC.
They're almost out
tournament.
of the NIT too.
Yes.
Well, Pitt
bad
had put-
right now.
Pitt
It's a
had played
sad state of
themselves into a
affairs.
position where they were a favorite to make the 64-team tournament, and then they promptly lost their last 3 games against teams that they should have beaten. They lost to Miami at home. They lost to Wake Forest there, and then they just completely fell apart against Florida State, a team which they beat pretty handily here at the Peterson Event Center earlier in the season. Their shooting touch went ice cold. If you're not knocking down your shots, you're not gonna.
You need Matty Ice.
Then they got out rebounded by Florida State, and Florida State has a big front court, but they don't play well together.
At this point, Smoking
you
Jim
know,
Frazier,
and they just need
they should go after Matty Ice.
Yeah.
They should go after every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the city and try them out and run them through. What do we got to lose if this
Yeah.
is all we got? If this is the talent pool that we got to play from, they were doing a good job of getting the players from up in Brooklyn and in New York. But once that coach left and went to Manhattan,
Good point.
that kind of dried up a little bit.
Well, to
Good
be
point.
honest with you, from what I have been hearing from basketball experts, and I do defer
What
to
basketball
them,
experts?
they say that Pitt should actually
What did Magic Johnson
have a fairly decent team next year. They've got a junior college transfer coming in. It's a 7-footer. And they're getting almost everybody back from this game. In a year of seasoning, they should be a better team. And the thing that they were lacking this year was a big man in the front court.
They weren't
did
only
not
just-
have that. So
they weren't
that
even
changes,
just lacking a
excuse
big
me,
man.
That changes the way other teams run their offense. If you've got a big man in the center that can clog things up.
You got weak guard play, awful guard play, abysmal guard play. You got non-creative shooters. You
Could
got
you
guys
think
that
of
can't
another
even pull up and shoot the ball. Can't create off the dribble. So Pitt got more problems than just a big man inside.
But maybe they were just young, though, too.
Exactly.
All I can say is this. 5 years ago, everybody said T.J. McConnell couldn't play at Pitt. That's why he landed at Duquesne. Now he's the player of the year in this conference at Arizona, and one of the best teams in the country. So quit this reverse discrimination stuff.
Well, you know.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. Coming from you, that so much credibility that I think they change that dial. Don't change that dial, Chief. Keep watching. We're going to talk a little Penguins right now because I'm excited about the Penguins. I'm glad they're playing better defense. That's been one of my arguments. 3 on none is very hard for most goaltenders. 2 on none is very difficult.
Exactly.
So when at least you have one player back there now, which they do a lot of times, Fleury's able to stand up a lot better. He looks more relaxed. And I'm not a hater. I believe with 9 shutouts means something. I mean, holding the teams with the defense here and bringing new players in like they did, new coaching staff, they've done well. I'm excited about this season ending and getting into the real season with the playoffs.
Well, I'll tell you the person that I think was the best acquisition they made this year. And I was not a very big fan of James Neal. I thought he was one of those people that went in the tank and and threw that series against the Rangers last year. And
Wow.
that's pretty strong terms, but that's the way I feel about it. Patrick Hornquist has been playing. He's been a great compliment to Sidney Crosby because he's that big guy that's going to get in front of the net. And he's gonna shoot the puck. He's gonna pick up loose pucks. He's actually outscored Crosby in goals this year. I think he and that other kid that they picked up from Edmonton, Perron. I think that was great to break up Crosby's line and put those 2 guys in with him because look what's happened to that line, and they put less skilled players on Malkin's line, which has actually improved his level of play.
Plus his new stick.
Plus
the flat stick.
Plus he has to step it up because he doesn't have a 40-goal scorer on his wing like Neil once was. He isn't now, but he was once.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm optimistic with them, and I like the changes there. Zach, what do you think there, buddy?
Well, you know what I think? It doesn't matter what I think because
Okay,
what's going to
good.
happen on the ice is going to happen on the ice. And like I've been saying for a long time
Well, this
now,
is opinion,
we're too easy to put the blame on the goalie. The goalie is unable to score goals technically, period, at all. So when you have 2 of the best players in the world that just somewhat disappear and don't play up to the expectations, that to me is more astounding than Marc-Andre Fleury getting burned in a shootout, because how often there's not too many times during 3 periods of hockey where a guy breaks free and it's just one-on-one. The best player, Kane, for Chicago versus your goalie, which is one of our best players because 2 of our biggest stars fade and disappear in crucial times. So what we need to have happen here for the Penguins to go far in the playoffs is Sid the Kid to play all-world, and Geno Malkin to step up and play every bit as all-world as he does for Russia, as he does for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, Zach, I do have to agree with you, and I do think that part of the Penguins' big problem this past season is that their stars are not playing the way they are getting paid. I think Crosby's and Malkin's should be scoring a lot more now. Scoring league-wide is down, and I think that the NHL needs to reevaluate what's going on and whether or not. I mean, there are rules in place, and it's the same thing with baseball, the slow play in the games. There are rules in place that they could be enforcing that could make the game a little bit more exciting, get a little bit more out. But you got this clutching, you got this grabbing. I mean, one of, who was it last night against San Jose? One of their guys was sitting on one of our players in the middle of the ice.
Really?
You can't do that. That's a thing called interference, and the referees need to call these things. And they're not doing that. So subsequently, scoring's down. But if the scoring's going to be down, that means playing a real tight defensive system is what's going to change the outcome of the game. And I think with the acquisitions that we made and the defense that we've got now, give them about 15 games to get really acclimated to one another. I think now they've got a better chance to go further in the playoffs than they did 2 weeks ago.
Well, I'm glad they're getting healthier, too. I think that'll be one of the factors also. So that's part of playing together, too. So let's go, Pens. We got to have a little bucko talk here.
Got it.
And I already got my summer tan. Devin, what'd you do
I'm
here?
telling you.
What happened here?
Yeah.
How did I get this
Don't
tan?
anybody believe it. He's been in the tanning booth all day.
No, I'm
Straight tan.
I'm as pale as this towel.
There
But
you are.
I can't believe it.
But after the first week of games being played with the Pirates, the Pirates pitching is doing very well. And I think, the big thing, the big takeaway from spring training is, what you don't want to do is hurt yourself. You got to get yourself into a condition and into a position to make it through 162 games.
El Toro.
El Toro started out the season and he's 4 for 6. And his,
Except for
six
one
at bat.
problem. He got a little elbow
He
discomfort.
got a little bit of elbow discomfort, but he's been playing. He's been working his butt off at first base. They say he's been taking a couple of hundred ground base. Jim.
Well, Jim's an expert almost on everything, so you aren't going to argue. Why would you let facts get in the way of his
But
opinion?
he's taking a couple of hundred ground balls every day. He's fully committed to playing.
They even
first
showed
base.
on TV a few times the practice that he goes through. It's pretty intensive.
Well, let me tell you something. The first swing of the bat he had this spring training, he hit one out to the left center field, deepest part of the park with the wind blowing in.
Those are good signs.
So these are all really, really good signs for Pedro Alvarez. Kong has been playing very well. They're moving him around. He played yesterday at third base. I think he was playing shortstop today. Neil Walker sat down because he got hit by a pitch, and they're just going to give him a chance to
What about
rest out.
Josh Harrison? I heard he's a little
Josh
iffy.
Harrison rolled his ankle, and it's the same ankle that he had he injured 3 times last year. But he played yesterday, and they said that he was moving the balls hit to his left side without any hitch. There was no noticeable.
But can he
leg.
run the bases like he did last
You know,
year?
I don't
Because even
think-
if you go against the rules like he did, you still were safe.
But it's going to be real interesting, and it's going to be interesting watching how the pitching staff develops. You've got probably your first 4 starters will be Cole Liriano, AJ Burnett, and Charlie Morton. The 5th spot's going to be fought out between Vance Worley and Jeff Locke, and it's kind of a nice problem to have. To have 6 good quality starting pitchers. And believe me, before the end of the season, they're all going to play a part in us winning the division title.
Well, you always got to worry about those arms and all that stuff. Frankie looked good yesterday. Pirates had 10 hits.
Today, that was.
Oh, I'm sorry, today.
Yes,
I
sir.
Lost a day already.
Yeah,
That's why I don't get excited about the Grapefruit League, because what you see, they split teams in half. They play
Yes.
here. They're trying
You're
something
playing
with the
against
guy. They're
double-A guys,
experimenting.
triple-A guys.
Right, so you can't get all excited about that type of stuff, but it is fun to see certain players that you want to see succeed,
Oh, yeah.
because we need them.
And then listening to the reports back from the reporters, from the coaches, from the national baseball writers, everybody came into camp focused, ready to play. Worked on improving your craft over the winter. People that needed to lose weight, lost weight. People that needed to put on weight, put on muscle to improve themselves.
Polanco gained, what did he, 25 pounds?
20 pounds. He put on 20 pounds and put it on in all muscle because at the end of the year last year, because we brought him up too soon, like my friend Jim thought he should have been up sooner, but he fatigued at the end of the season. So what he did was we worked on his strength and conditioning over the winter, and he took the winter off from playing winter ball because he had been playing so much. He comes into the year fresh. I think he's going to be a real asset. I'm really looking forward to watching what Starling Marte does this year. I think this is the year that he becomes an all-star, makes
Let's hope so.
makes himself a national name.
Can't wait
because-
to go to a game.
Yeah, do you know, right, Jim? There's 9 innings in a baseball game.
Well, we're not going to cover that. We're down to the last minute. Any closing words there, Zach?
Yeah, see you in Cheswick, PA on Saturday. Gladiators of the Cage.
MMA.
St. Patrick's Day Massacre is coming right up around the corner.
All right.
Look for some Sean Porter Showtime. Porter on NBC on the 13th.
That's
of
boxing?
March. That's boxing. And have a good night.
Thanks, Zach. We're running out of time. Smoking Jim, what's
Hey,
going on?
any young guys out there wanting to get into broadcasting and interviewing, please tune in to yesterday's Pittsburgh Sports Line when it comes out, and check out Al Levine, the Talking Machine. You can learn a lot from him. Best I've ever seen. Great job, Al.
Smoking Jim, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't take the compliments well, but I'll keep that one. Chip, anything else to say? We got a couple seconds for you.
Couple of seconds, not much. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of spring training.
All right. Everybody take care. Thanks for watching us. We appreciate it. Have a safe night. Be safe out there in the rain.